Somebody comes into Kentucky now, what do they think of? They think of bourbon, and they think of horses.
The Kentucky Horse Park is the granddaddy of all equestrian venues.
This is the Yankee Stadium, the Fenway Park of equine facilities. You know, you have that sense of this aura of walking in to hallowed ground.
I don't think there's any place else in the world where you can walk in and pet a Kentucky Derby winner. It's like getting off the highway from meeting a quarterback winning Super Bowl champion.
It's like entering another world, a sort of mystique world of pastures, fences, horses.
I competed here for almost 30 years. Even though I'm not doing it so much now, I come all the time and watch.
You get that full sense of the history that was here, how much it played into the horse world in so many different ways, from racing to sporting horses to everything.
You know, I think one of my favorite stories about the park is actually how it was created and how it all came together. The reason that we were here is because Bruce Davidson put us on the map by winning that 1974 World Championship. And at the time, the way it worked is that the world champion got to host the event on their home country the next go-round. Someone had a fun idea to say, let's have it at the Kentucky Horse Park. The folks at the time took on that challenge, and then we had the World Championships here in 1978.
The 1978 World 3D Event Individual Champion, Bruce Davidson, United States of America.
We're here in the big barn at the Kentucky Horse Park, and this place is quite magical. It's actually one of the biggest barns in the country, built back in the 70s. My whole life has revolved around this horse park. I came here first time in 1978 when they have the World Championships here, and was right here in this aisle as a groom for the New Zealand team when I was 16 years old. You know, for being groomed there and then being a competitor here and competing at the big five-star for, the last 35 years. And then the USEF was created here, and I was president of the USEF while we were creating it for 10 years. And now I'm back with the USEF as chief of sport. So really this place has been kind of a central, iconic place in my whole life, really, since I've been 16 years old. You know, I last won this competition in 2001, right? So we're talking, 21 years ago. You still walk the course of how you would ride it. You still feel the excitement of what it takes to win it, the crowd excitement. You still feel as a competitor what you would do and still think about it, even, now that I'm old.
There are two parts of this horse park. There's the front part that we call the tourist part, and then there's the back part that's the competition area. In the early 70s, all the horse farms in this region were open to tourists. We like being known for that. And then because of so much liability, the farms had to close. And then we had no way to bring tourists in to experience the horse. That was when the whole idea to develop a horse park for tourism first began.
It seemed a very natural thing for Kentucky to have a park called the Horse Park. The history of the thoroughbred breeding industry in Kentucky goes back over 100 years.
The state ended up purchasing this land from a farm that was called Walnut Hall. We're now better than 1,200 acres dedicated to the horse. Visitors not only can go through the tourism side, but then they can go back and watch events that are going on. So you can get just as much of a horse fix as you could possibly want right here at the park.
Kentucky hosting the World Equestrian Games in 2010 was huge. I mean, I think we were on the map before that, but that just put that much more emphasis on us, right? The first time that those games were held outside of Europe.
The state backed it, rebuilt it, new stadiums, new everything. And it really changed the game because now a lot of the big international shows can happen here in the United States instead of us always having to travel and where Europe is such an epicenter.
That was 8 equine disciplines, all competing on this park. We had teams from all over the world that competed here. At that time, my husband was governor, so I was first lady, and I was determined to sit in on every single event, and I did. I even had the chance to ride an Olympic reining horse. I got to start the endurance ride. It was a horse person's dream come true.
I think we're a key piece of the entire equine community. This is where it happens. As you look at different breeds and disciplines and where they compete at different times of the year, they all come through Kentucky at some point. And so it's important for us just to preserve that. The Land Rover Kentucky 3-day event attracts roughly 80,000 people to the horse park every year. Then you look at the National Horse Show. The National Horse Show started in 1885, I believe, in New York City at Madison Square Garden, and it ended up in Kentucky. 2 weeks ago, we had a major quarter horse show that attracted quarter horse competitors from all across the country to here.
And every weekend, there's something going on here. All sports, Western, the hunters, dressage, eventing, saddlebreds, everybody comes here on the different weekends.
From beginning to end, from Tammy Smith with Alexandra and Eleanor Hurd and Eric Markel's My Back.
All right, Oliver, are we ready to go out and change the world? Bring some joy to people's faces? All right. Here, when the guests come onto the park, one of the first things they get to see is our beautiful barn and the mounted police officers. This is Oliver, and if you know anything about the Breyer horses, he actually has his own Breyer.
No way.
Yeah.
Congratulations, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's a big park, but at the same time, we can walk, trot, and canter because we have so much green space. When you're on the horse, you're going at a much slower pace, so you can take in the surroundings so much better. The horse is also alert, so you'll be amazed at how many times the horse will alert me as to, oh, there's something over here, or there's something over here, if you're paying attention and you listen to what the horse is trying to tell you. With Oliver, we do a lot of demonstrations and we do a lot of parades. The kids in particular, you can see their faces, they just light up. Is he soft? It's just a nice feeling to have, to see so much joy in people's faces. This is really the most rewarding job I could possibly ever ask for.
So you get a full immersive experience here. You have big draft horses that are bringing you around on wagons. You know, you can go horseback riding here and take you on a trail ride all the way through.
We have the International Museum of the Horse, which that museum is dedicated to the history of the horse. After that, then go up to our Parade of Breeds. And the Parade of Breeds, again, celebrates the different breeds and disciplines that we have on the park, from the Halflinger to the Mustang. We tell why that breed is important, what role it played in our society and in our lives early on. And you're able to go up and pet the horse. One of the last stops you'll make is at our Hall of Champions.
The Hall of Champions, I like to think, is the marquee event here at the horse park. I like to refer to it as a living museum. We have 6 champion racehorses here. We have 2 champion standardbred trotters, 2 standardbred champion pacers, and we have 2 champion thoroughbreds. They work as ambassadors to their sport.
And the first horse you're going to meet is actually the youngest horse here at the Hall of Champions, also our newest arrival. His name is Marion Marauder. He did something in 2016 that only 8 other standardbreds have ever done in the history of this kind of racing. He won the trotting Triple Crown. And similar to the thoroughbreds,
the rest of the equine residents, athletes here are just superstars. A lot of times the worst horse in the barn's only won $1 million.
There's probably arguably not another domesticated animal that has made as big of an impact on human civilization as horses have. And, they're still used for such a wide variety of purposes. There's a huge history to capture there, and it's important to understand that humans really wouldn't be where we are now and wouldn't have been able to make the big jumps we have in our civilization without this animal.
Horses and humans have been together for 6,000 years. 80 years ago, everybody would have seen a horse every day. Now that's not possible, right? There's a huge want for a touch back to the natural side, and there's an immediate attraction to the horses since they've really been part of our humanity.
The park's a magical place. It creates magical moments for families, and they continually come back generation after generation. We've been here long enough now where the parents like to bring the grandkids out because they were here 30 or 40 years ago and something ticked for them.
You fall in love with a horse because of their beauty. They're magnificent. You watch them move, you watch them relate to you. It's hard for me to imagine somebody not falling in love in some form or fashion. I've been involved with this park almost from the very beginning. It is my love. I've been a fox hunter for 45 years. From fox hunting, I went into eventing, and I did that for, close to 30 years. I'm still doing dressage. I still ride 3 horses every day. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have the horse. I always told my husband that it was cheaper than a psychiatrist, but after 54 years of marriage, he's decided that that is not true. We have a family history with horses with this horse park. I think we are the only family that have had 3 generations compete at the same event. Where else could you do that? I don't think there's another place like that in the world.
The future of the Kentucky Horse Park is to preserve and enhance what we already have. We're undergoing a huge renovation campaign on the barns. We're looking to rebuild them into state-of-the-art show competition facilities. This is definitely a state treasure, but also a national treasure. We want to create a place that people from Wyoming and Texas and Oklahoma, California want to come and visit the Kentucky Horse Park.
How do we create those experiences that deepens that connection to the horse and helps folks understand that more? To tell that story differently, to tell that story better.
I got to win here 3 times, and my wife also won it 3 times here. The memories of, galloping across this Kentucky bluegrass in front of those type of crowds was something that nobody will ever take it away from you. You look forward to that last week of April. And I know where I'm going to be the last week of April for the rest of my life.
There are so many of us that are dedicated to this park that we're going to make sure that it continues to offer more opportunities, bring more people off that interstate in here. The horse industry is never going to go away. It's going to be a part of this state forever. This park will continue to have such relevance.
The mounted police officers extremely valuable to the department. A lot of the ways that they're valuable is just community relations. When you're on the horse, you're face to face. You can look at people and you can see the expressions in their face. You can smile. You can easily have a conversation with them. And it's such an icebreaker. So the colloquium that we're part of today started in 1983. The need was recognized that, hey, I need training. I need to further my horsemanship skills. It started out with nobody bringing horses. It started out with maybe 20 people, a representative from your local departments that were close, coming here to the Kentucky Horse Park and sitting at a round table type discussion and talking about your current ways of policing, and it's since evolved. So 1983 to 2023, that's 40 years. My name is Captain Lisa Rakes. I'm from Kentucky. I grew up on a working farm. I was in the military for a stint and then got hired into the police academy. And then I spent 23 years with the downtown Lexington Police Department. It was time for me to retire that phase of my career, and the opportunity presented itself here at the Kentucky Horse Park. I retired on a Friday and started to work here on a Monday. The trust between the rider and horse is extremely important when you're patrolling. The fact that you're riding a live animal. So you want to have that connection. You want the horse to be trained to listen to you, to listen to your aids that you're giving him, whether it's the leg that's on him and keeping him away from the traffic or the rain. You want him to have that connection with you. Instructors that are teaching equitation drills and working equitation and obstacles, they're helping further that connection and build those relationships so that the horse learns to trust us.
Day to day, when I first started on the unit in 2003, as an agent, we just deployed to high traffic areas that were predominantly able to be better patrolled by horses as opposed to ATVs or dirt bikes or regular field agents. It was remote, environmentally sensitive areas. It's really where we like to work because maybe not all of our other assets could get in there. So we found that horse patrol units work the best in there.
I found that policing on the back of a horseback is community orientated. It allows the community to build partnerships with the police, and that it's a regular day-to-day conversation. So where they see a police officer on a bike or in a car, they always feel that they're busy or they don't want to interrupt or anything like that. But it usually starts with a friendly conversation like, how old is your horse? What is the name of your horse? Oh my God, that's a horse.
The public seeing us on a horse makes us approachable, and I think it also bridges the gap between the scary police officer and just someone that they can talk to and ask real questions to and feel safe.
We've got people that ride city, we ride rural. We're all law enforcement, and underlying, we all do the same thing. We serve the community.
So this year we're at 150 participants. Normally we're hovering around 100, and I think you'll be able to see why people come and want to continue to come and further their education and their relationship with their horse.
I have gone to many different equitation competitions throughout North America, and I am a true believer that the colloquium is by far the most diverse, best training that you're going to ever possibly get in probably the best, most high-tech horse facility you're ever going to be in.
All of the different instructors that they've had over the years, they present their topics in such a way that they're making suggestions to you. They're not saying you must do it this way. They're saying, hey, this is how it's worked well for us. Here's a tool to try.
So right now, since we're down here, we'll go ahead and we'll let you guys do some barrel practice.
From the moment I met the other instructors when we came in the first time to instruct, it's like instantly we all clicked and have built a very, very good friendship over the years.
It's nice to see the camaraderie ship, and it's not cutthroat because we're all working towards the same goal here. We all want our horses to be better, and we all want ourselves to be better. That's why we come, so they can take that back to showcase to their community. You'll see some of the fun things that they're incorporating in. It speeds things up when you add games or a friendly competition to things. You realize what you're missing, where your holes are in your training. The slower you go, generally, the better it's going to be, but sometimes you can't go slow.
When you go around that corner, try not to slow right down into the corner. Don't dig into these corners. You can make them round.
It's a very hard thing to say to a four-legged animal, you know, I need you to be perfect today. But through that training and development and constant, you know, showing them that we can get through it and building that trust relationship with the horses, and that common goal that kind of sort of pushes everyone through it is what makes this colloquium the place to be for training.
Awesome, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
It's such a great experience here because it's not about being a cop. It's about your partnership with your horse.
So we're covering lots of topics here during our training at the colloquium, and the bread and butter, I'll say, and a lot of people don't like working on it necessarily, but we got to do it. It's our equitation. It showcases the need and the desire that people really have to make themselves better.
Mandy, just slow your pace down a tiny bit. There you go, not too much.
So last year we did a 100-horse musical ride, and I've never seen that before. So that was last year. So this year we end up having 150 horses in it, and Lisa says, oh, we're gonna do that again by popular demand, and by the way, you've got 1 hour to teach it instead of 1 hour and 20. Each of those movements are equitational things that you need to learn, right? So your eye lead, your balance, your how to bend, how to flex, and you're learning it through application of a position in a drill ride or a musical ride, but not knowing that that is what's going to be the end result. So the crowd control is something that we teach back at home all the time. We try to not only maintain but further develop our animals through the sensory training that we provide them. You never know what is going to happen when you're in a sporting event or at a concert or a demonstration or protest. Our horses are almost mandated to be perfect.
The mind-blowing cool thing that I've enjoyed is watching 150 horses doing that choreographed dance yesterday, taking mobile field formations, which we practice, but actually doing something really special with it.
All together, don't rush this, don't rush, don't rush.
I think what's really special about this event is they accommodated the two different traditions. It didn't matter, you know, which way you rode. If you rode English or Western, they had different scoring, and you weren't penalized because maybe you're on a draft horse that can run faster than a tiny little quarter horse from the West. So I think this organization does a really good job of bringing it all together and not spending a whole lot of time worrying about what's your discipline and how do you tack up and what gear do you use?
That's what makes it special, is that you're asking a Clydesdale to be a quarter horse and do barrel racing, and then you're asking, you know, a barrel racing horse to go in and do sensory training, you know, with whatever's being thrown at them. So you're asking a lot out of each horse that's in there, and everyone has their, you know, real good strong fronts, and everyone has those nuances of weakness. But when you come together all as one, the strength of all of them together is just overwhelming to watch.
They're new experiences, and even though, realistically, are we going to do some of these obstacles on the street? Absolutely not. What's important is that when we do these, he knows that no matter what I'm telling him to do, it's safe and it's okay. The different techniques when it comes to crowd control, when it comes to any of the things that we've done here this week, for me, what's nice is it's just great networking, and it sort of helps build our own training program that we have, especially when we go throughout the years and we see maybe different changes that different agencies have made, because maybe tactics are a little bit different or a little bit safer, or what has worked and hasn't worked. So we take those directly back to our own members of the unit.
The police officers and the groups that come here to train, they are very passionate about improving the connection between themselves and their horse so that they can go back to their communities and be safe. You should never quit learning. You should keep sharpening your skills, and taking training lessons or equitation skills is one of the best things we can do to make our horses better. So I think those are just tremendous things that the horse park has to offer for the folks that come.